And staying with the CBC Divide, in 2017, the government began the rollout of the competency-based curriculum, phasing out the 844 system that had defined Kenya's education system for more than 3 decades. The Ministry of Education at the time indicated that the transition was informed by the need to eliminate the cutthroat competition associated with the 844 system and upgrade the country's education to a skill-based practical approach. However, public schools seem to be lagging behind due to a massive resource gap as private schools invest in cutting-edge amenities. Laura Otieno reports on the disparity in the rollout of CBC that seem to deepen the inequalities of access to education.
Beneath the hopeful sounds of learners in the new system, a crisis of inequality is unfolding as public schools grapple with inadequate resources and private schools display well-done amenities. For the last 3 years, the system has faced its deepest test yet. And now, the transition into the junior secondary school is throwing a spanner in the works. In 2022, a recommendation by the Presidential Working Party on Education was adopted, paving way for the release of 18.8 billion shillings to construct classrooms for junior secondary school learners who are hosted in primary schools. A move that had received great opposition.
There is need for a proper direction on the future of JSS because we cannot have excess teachers in primary, secondary and inadequate teachers in primary. Excess resources in secondary, inadequate resources in primary.
A JSS institution requires a fully equipped science laboratory and a library. While constituencies have supported the construction of labs in some schools through the NGCDF, equipping the same remains work in progress, while some schools in rural parts of the country completely missing this crucial amenity.
So unless some schools which are neighboring senior secondary schools, and with that they have to also make good rapport for them to use their facilities. Without that good rapport, they may not be able to access the laboratories in those schools.
And while much of the focus has been on JSS, the quality of education at the primary classes has been deteriorating as school heads report a dire state of books in the lower grades.
The lifespan of a textbook, as advised given by the government and even by the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, KICD, is 3 years. The ratio is not 1-to-1, and the government has never supplied the books in the previous classes.
At private schools, however, a stark contrast unfolds. Amenities for extracurricular activities have also been set up, fanning the CBC flame in private schools. The cost of these amenities are shouldered by the parents. In public schools, the government has allocated about 38 billion shillings for primary and junior secondary schools for the year 2025, an amount schools say can barely cover half of the required costs.
The inflation rate has gone high, and because we are beginning a system which has not been known to the public since independence, this junior school, I think the government should have invested more.
Otherwise, we risk having a whole generation of students losing out if we don't get it right in these transitional moments.
Education is touted as the greatest equalizer, and with that, various stakeholders are now calling on the Ministry of Education to enhance investment in education in order to actualize the dreams of the competency-based curriculum to give a fair chance to students in public schools who are lagging behind their counterparts in private schools. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.